The Joyful Friar podcast is made possible by the generous support of our friends. To support the podcast, please visit nathan-castle.com and donate today. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Joyful Friar podcast. I'm Father Nathan Castle, your host, and I'm happy to have a repeat guest. And when I refer to him, I always just call him Manny Guzman, but I think you're professionally Manuel Guzman or something like that. What are you anyway? Who are you?
Yeah, thank you, Father Nathan, for having me back. It's so good to be with you. So my full name is Manuel Guzman, and but nicknames. I'm Manny. So I go by the fifth of my name. So there were lots of Manuels in my family name, and in fact, Manuel Guzman the first was named after his grandmother, Manuelita,
Hmm.
Manuela. So it's a strong family name. But I'm the executive director of Rebuild Superior, which is a 501c3 nonprofit located in Superior, Arizona. We're a rural community about 2 hours north of Tucson and an hour east of Phoenix, kind of in the mountain area. About 3,000 people. This is my hometown, 7 generations deep, and moved home last summer after spending 26 years in Tucson in a variety of different nonprofit roles, but my last stint was as the business manager at the St. Thomas More Catholic Newman Center at the University of Arizona. So I am a third order Dominican, so Dominican laity, and it's been quite the experience transitioning from, uh, my the work that I was doing with the other Dominicans on campus to a more secular role, but yet, community development is about people. And, uh, that's guided with my convictions of faith. So it's been a great learning experience this last year, figuring out, my spiritual life, my professional life, my social life. Everything's sort of been rocked over this last year, but I've been trying to lean into the growth. So really great to be with you.
Good. And we knew each other because I live at the St. Thomas More Newman Center on the campus of the University of Arizona. That
Mhm.
was where you were the business manager. And I also am a Dominican, so we belong to the same religious family. And you were frequently at our table, especially remember back during the pandemic when we nobody could be with
Mhm.
anybody else,
Yeah.
and we all had to be, on our honor that we wouldn't venture out and bring the germs home to
We were in a
everybody.
bubble together.
We were in a bubble, and we did all those services while the university was shut down, and
Mhm.
we didn't have any evening services on Sunday anymore, so we had these like long leisurely barbecue things on Sunday. We ordinarily wouldn't like ease up on Sunday because we still needed to be ready for the evening shift. But I remember those times weirdly fondly. We did the best we could under really weird circumstances.
Likewise, it was a very unique period of time, but I felt very close to all of you, being able to go through that together and not feel so isolated during an uncertain time.
Well, we had you on the show some years back. Do you remember how many years back it was?
Gosh, it's been 3 or 4 years, I think.
Probably three because we're just beginning the fourth year now.
Yeah.
But at the time, we had you on particularly to talk about the Day of the Dead and customs, especially from the Hispanic and indigenous aspects of life in Southern Arizona, about the Day of the Dead, and All Saints and All Souls Day and the Catholic practice of praying for, especially for our deceased loved ones during the month of November. And that that show really struck a chord with people. It's been one of our most viewed and listened to. So my brainiac assistant, Chantel, said, "Why don't you have Manny back on? He was terrific." So she's the one who steered me towards inviting you yet again. So tell us a little bit about what it is you do now. What Superior is the name of the town, which is a great name for a town. It already has a kind of a positive affect around it. But you are, what is it? You're improving Superior or better than Superior, or what is it that you run?
Yeah, the name of the org is Rebuild Superior.
Rebuild Superior. All right.
Yeah. What's interesting is, when you get into community and economic development, especially in a small town that has seen its share of boom and bust cycles of population, energy, all of those things. When you say rebuild the community, a lot of times that comes with nostalgia for the good old days,
Uh-huh.
right? And so I have found myself this last year having some pretty deep conversations with people around, honoring what has been, but also not being afraid to dream a little bit into creating something new. And so, when I talk about community and economic development, it's at all levels. We're doing basic things like administrating the local food bank. So, we're meeting the most basic of needs for people with food. Um, and then wraparound services, job skills training. We have a welding program up here. We support small businesses and entrepreneurs to develop business plans and take their ideas from paper to reality and kind of walk with them through that process. uh, Meeting with other community members, working on a regional basis in small towns, just trying to uplift the community and figuring out what that looks like for a vibrant future.
Many of the small towns that would be within a couple of hours drive of you were mining towns, right?
Yeah. And
That-
Superior as well. In
yeah.
fact, over my shoulder, you can see that you kind of can tell it. That's an old smelter
Yeah.
smoke stack that used to be part of our you know, part of the environment here. It's since come down for safety reasons, but yeah, lots of mining. It started with silver and then a lot of copper mining in the region. We also have some perlite mining operations, which if anybody uses talcum powder or Tums, things like that, we have a couple of processing facilities that mine components that go into those things.
Uh-huh.
So the community found itself kind of at the mercy of whatever the mine industry was doing on a global scale. And this new era that we're working on is I would say it has deeper roots in the community so it can weather those storms and be able to have diversity and what makes a place home, what is livelihood and being able to provide so that way we're not outsourcing or just becoming a retirement community. So
Hmm.
lots of big conversations happen in my day to day, just around what this community is going to look like in the future. And I have found myself over the last year, like reminding people that our best days are ahead of us. There's that we have to believe that. That's a gift of hope. And um, so I also try to be a show not tell kind of person. So, if there are ways that I can contribute to my community, I'm certainly trying to do that and invite others into that process.
I've heard about uh, smaller cities trying to recruit people from urban areas in a work from home economy, especially after the pandemic and when so many jobs shifted to workplaces shifted to some hybrid of home and work, home and office. Do you have anybody moving into Superior because it's a desirable place to be and they can work remotely?
Yeah, if anyone, your listeners have ever been here, it is really beautiful. I know I'm biased, but we have panoramic views of the mountains around us. There's wonderful hiking. We have Boyce Thompson Arboretum, and it has attracted a number of new people. We are growing again. It's a kind of a slow growth, but it is happening. Our internet connectivity has grown, making it, you're not having to worry about dial-up era internet connections. So we have seen a number of new people come in and take advantage of the quieter lifestyle, but yet still be able to get their work done.
Yeah. And how far from Phoenix are you, did you say?
I mean, the Phoenix metro area is only about a 25-minute drive before
Yeah.
you get into Apache Junction and the East Valley of Phoenix.
Hmm.
So we do have a mountain range, the superstitions that we're kind of nestled in. So there is some geography that separates us from the valley proper, but we have US 60 that runs right through us. So there's a
Right.
major artery of transit.
Yeah. Mhm. And you have a kind of a series of former mining towns or active mining towns
Mhm.
along that Route 60.
Yeah, you have Kearney, about 25 minutes south of us, and then you have Miami Globe, to the east of us, 25 minutes. So we're kind of right in the middle of a junction, to what we call the Copper Triangle.
I see. All right. I'm up there sometimes, not very far south of you. I help out at some
Mhm.
towns that are in the Diocese of Tucson, where I'm going to be this weekend, as a matter of fact. Well, when we were on, or had you on the last time, it was in tandem with the Day of the Dead,
Mhm.
uh, and that podcast was so popular that it was the reason we've invited you back. So, uh, I wonder what you might have to say, old and new, about practices that what do you find in Superior around these days that are coming up, or in your own
Mhm.
family, because your parents are still there in Superior, aren't they?
They are, they are. I have extended family still in the area, both branches of the family, long standing roots. So yeah, with respect to Day of the Dead, um, for the cultural side of things, I just grew up not being afraid of being at the cemetery, right? Like the cemetery was not a spooky place for
Mhm.
me. It
Right.
was where we went to go honor our ancestors and clean their graves and paint and tell stories and be able to know where we came from and what made today possible. So it's great to be home. I was still living in Tucson the last time I was on the podcast, but now living back in Superior, I can pop over there regularly, even just for a few minutes. And it's a place of peace, of calm, and especially as we prepare for sort of this Dia de los Muertos season, because it's not just a dia, not just a day.
Yes.
It really is, um, you know, a time period. It's not just one day for us, and the cultural expression of that looks differently in different parts of the indigenous roots. This predates the Spanish colonialism of Mexico and South America. They were already um, having some of these traditions in place, but of course, you marry the richness of the church and the faith and our belief in relationship with God and everlasting life, and then you get the modern day versions of the tie with All Saints and All Souls Day. So it's beautiful to be home, uh, to be able to do that on an ongoing basis.
Mm.
But this is definitely a special time for that.
So, are there activities? We're recording this at near the
Mhm.
beginning of October. We're recording this
Yeah,
on the 8th.
yeah,
Um, Halloween's been going on for months in the craft stores and all of that.
yeah.
Uh, has there been some spread of Dia de los Muertos celebrations? Have there been some things that happened already, or are they all upcoming?
Yeah, so in my community, I've been helping to coach a nonprofit called Copper Copper State 177. They actually host community celebration with the Dia de los Muertos, and it's October 25th this year. And they go all out. They're already decorating. They're prepping the space. And one of the unique pieces of a celebration like that is it is a celebration. It's a memorial, but it's a celebration, right? This is the negative connotations aren't there. This is about honoring the stories of the people that we place on what's called an ofrenda, which is like an altar type place where we post pictures of our loved ones, and it's meant to honor them. A lot of times, it maybe their favorite food or drink accompanies that, and it's meant to kind of be connected and remind us that we're still connected to them, even though they are not here in bodily form
So,
anymore.
doesn't a friend end up moving? Do you have one in your house, but when there's a celebration that's civic, do you pick it up and bring it to the other
Oh,
place?
it's an and thing. I think they exist in all the places.
Yeah.
In my home, we've got a little area that has pictures year round up, but a lot of times the marigold flower plays a role in this, and that's some of those indigenous roots that I was talking about. This is kind of the season for those. So you'll often see marigolds as part of the ofrendas, and then again the food and drink. Um, in a celebration, a community celebration like that, it'll be a giant ofrenda, and then people will bring their photos and place them on it, and it allows all of us to be able to gather and oh, I remember your Nana and Tata, or I remember this person, and being able to share stories.
Uh-huh. For people that are not familiar with all of this, you might be familiar with something similar to it at the back of a funeral home. When if there's a wake or rosary or something the
Right.
night, but or sometimes even in the foyer of a church or a courtyard or somewhere around a funerary rite, a funeral or whatever, there'll be some collection of photos and stuff. And like in my family, it would be Houston Astros memorabilia, or you know, people might have their sports stuff, or uh,
Yep.
sometimes it's pop culture. They were a big fan of some rock star or whatever, and they'll
Mhm.
have, and then food, like you mentioned, there'll be some, or maybe they make sure that the food that's at the after party is has the deceased one's favorite stuff involved in
Yeah.
it.
And again, it's a celebration of connection, right? This is this sense of we are still connected to one another, and we're honoring that connection and that relationship and that love that was shared. That's eternal, right? That's not something that goes away. Um, of course, it can be often tinged with grief, but I think the love piece and also this hope, right? This hope that we'll be reunited someday is what makes it very special.
Yes, and in my ministry, I try to move that away from kind of a shot in the dark, a 50-50 chance, or some vague uh, notion that maybe there's something up in the sky or something like that. I try I do retreats, as you know, and I try to get people really working on a functional, practical level and asking them, do you ever talk to your loved ones who have died already? And you're what, the fifth Manuel Guzman? Uh, do you talk to numbers 1 through 4? Do you,
Um,
what do you
I,
do
I
in your own life?
Yeah, I talk a lot to my grandparents. I'm out there. Um, my grandmother Mary, I speak to her when it rains because she was so sweet. Whenever it would rain, it could be pouring, and she would stick her head out the door and close her eyes and say, "I'm getting my blessing." I'm getting my blessing, and just allow a little bit of rain to get on her, and that is a practice that I have still. A lot of my family, like, oh, I got my blessing.
You go
You
and
know,
stand. You have to live in a desert for a while to understand how cool it is for water to drop out of the sky. It just seems like a miracle every time it happens. Look at that.
yeah,
There's water falling out in the air.
yeah,
Having grown up in a place where it rained all the time, I came here and it was an adjustment. And here it's crazy, but much of Arizona depends on half of our water comes during the monsoon season that's just now ending.
right.
And that comes with lightning and thunder, and honest to God, people go stand in the driveway. Like,
Yeah, it's an
they don't care whether
experience.
they're hit by lightning or not. They want to be a part of it.
The social media accounts all light up, with people, oh, it's raining
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but yeah, so you just around conversations, absolutely, it's and I think that's healthy, right? That is an acknowledgement of that connection. There are times that I've asked them to pray for me if I'm dealing with a particular situation that I remember the way in which they would carry themselves, or at least I would imagine how they would have carried themselves, especially if it's a difficult situation, just to say, you know, give me some strength, give me some patience, give me some wisdom, help me understand, um, you know, how not to maybe react in a situation that would be negative. So yeah, I'm always having those conversations, especially as I'm in town and I'm here. I can see the physical places that I spent time with them, and I can smile instead of be sad.
Yeah, that's great. I wanted to get something in here about you being the bishop at our party. Do you remember that?
I do remember that we were your living situation is very unique at your site where those houses they're over 100 years old, and we were giving it a good try to pull some money in for some renovations, and I got cast as the bishop at the time, and it was beautiful because my little auxiliary bishop was Toto.
My beloved, yeah.
Yeah, and I know that you just recently lost Toto. He was such a good boy, and I know how much he loved you and you loved him, and again, it's a connection thing, right? It's special, and we have to celebrate those things. There's so much darkness everywhere and polarization. If we can bring some light and goodness and remind ourselves that we belong to each other, then that's a good day for me.
Maybe we can throw that video in the mix for those that take, people can either listen to this as an audio only or they can go on YouTube and watch it. Maybe we can get that posted. It's only 7 minutes long, but you came in an enormously large mitre like a bishop. I remember taking a big crucifix off the wall for you to wear around.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
Toto was only 7.5 pounds, but he had his own little mitre and
Yes, and he was a good boy and kept it on, and
kept it on. And the part of the thing was he was going to drink out of the toilet, and he he
yeah.
jumped up on it like he knew his lines and knew what to do, and it was so sweet. I enjoy watching it now that that he's gone. We just buried his ashes on the Feast of St. Francis 4 days ago. Uh,
Oh, wonderful.
so he's in Father Richard's backyard. At least his remains are. I hope the rest of him has gone on to much happier things, and I trust that. So, but that's a happy member. You're kind of a dog parent too, aren't you?
I am. I have two Basset hounds, and we also have a mini Australian Shepherd, and uh, she's got a lot more energy than the hounds do. And I think she thinks they're very tiny cows that she herds around.
Oh, is that right?
But you know, they're good companions for each other and for me too. Life's better with a dog.
I remember having a friend that had a shepherd, and she had trouble at the dog park because he wanted to make all the other dogs get in line. That's
Yeah.
their thing is to be shepherds, and
Yep.
they want
If,
everybody else to get under control in the mix,
if one of my hounds is running, then she has an ear in her mouth.
Uh,
But it's all in good fun, and they love to play, and that makes us more playful
mhm.
as well. And I think that helps my mental health for sure.
Uh, huh. We named this podcast "Joyful Friar" because we're both Dominican, and that's Saint Dominic's nickname. It's
Mhm.
largely why I joined the order when I learned that. I just thought there's so many Catholic religious orders that have pain and crosses and blood and crowns of thorns in their names and stuff, and I just thought life's hard enough. I think I'd rather be around the joyful part. It. What does it mean for you being a lay member of the Dominican family? Why did you do that at all?
Yeah, well, my introduction to the Dominicans was there at the Newman Center, and so Saint Dominic was a Guzman. Uh,
Yes, that's his
you
last
know,
name.
so when I showed up as a freshman, that made me very popular immediately with the Friars because they were like, "Ooh, Guzman! Guess who else was a Guzman?"
Hmm.
And I just treasure the relationships with the Friars and the sisters and the other lay Dominicans that I've had over my lifetime. And uh, when you're in ministry, a lot of times you're giving, and it's a whole lot of giving, and yes, you receive here and there, but I really took that process of becoming a lay Dominican as something for me, um, something that I could receive and learn and stretch and grow and then be connected. The pillars of our life is prayer, study, community, and preaching, service, active, you know living out our faith. So that is that's why I did that. I wanted to make it official. I felt like a Dominican long before I started the process.
Yeah.
But I would say that one of the things that I've appreciated about the order is we also care for our dead, in a unique way. We pray for one another, even at meals. That's our tradition in communities
Yes.
to pray for the deceased on their anniversaries. That's a cultural thing. With my Mexican American heritage, we remember death anniversaries. They're just as kind of prominent as other dates sometimes. Just remembering that relationship changed at that time. And there's grief tinge to it, but it's also again a reminder that we love these people and they still continue to love us in a different way.
Well, there's a phrase in the funeral liturgy that says life is changed, not ended. That's quoting St. Paul. And one of the ways that when we haven't yet sat down to dinner, we're standing around the table looking at our plate. We have a prayer that we do, and we have a book that has the anniversary of in my uh, province. We're 175-year-olds now. We're about to have our anniversary. So any one of our members who've died on that day in our history is recalled right before the meal. And then we pray for them and we think of it as their birth into eternal life. So again, a celebration. They've died, but this was also the day in which they left here and went on to better things. And so we remember them. And then having brought their name up, and many times, there are several people in our history who've died on that date in history, and so the names are listed. And then any who died recently enough that anyone in the room remembers interacting with them, that becomes part of the table conversation
Yeah,
over the first course of the meal. It's just,
definitely. And all the tales, right?
yeah, and some of the, and there's always irreverent,
Community life is
yeah,
it's ups and
quirkiness.
downs, but
Absolutely, you learn a lot. And then when we were in Europe in the monasteries, and in fact, our monastery in Menlo Park, California, the nuns, their burial ground is under their dining room.
okay.
You go down, they have a crypt, and you go down a series of steps, and all the bodies are buried right under where they eat. And so when you're standing literally on the uh, the history of those who came before you, and we think of them as part of us, and so we don't only just remember them, but we also allow ourselves to wonder and dream, imagine, I wonder what they're up to now. Because we don't believe that we just go and sleep forever. That's not much fun. You know, I like a good night's sleep, but the whole point of it is to rise and be refreshed and renewed and ready to go out whatever you want to do that day. That's part
Definitely.
that's part of our spirit.
Yeah, and the other piece is, the rosary has been a prayer that has been with me all my life. And, Saint Dominic was sort of credited famously for using the rosary to teach the life of Jesus to the people. And in fact, we're at the Feast of the Rosary, Our Lady of the Rosary, as well.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So, that, but if I think back to my relationship with the rosary, it was at funerals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was growing up. It was saying rosaries at funerals, and I have appreciated being able to not have um, like it's not a negative memory, right? That it was actually a beautiful thing to be able to do on behalf and in honor of somebody that's passed.
Hmm. Yeah. That prayer that expands the Lord's Prayer at Mass, when we say the Lord's Prayer at Mass,
Mhm.
the congregation or the musicians drop out, deliver us from evil, and then the priest says, deliver us, Lord, from every evil. Grant us peace in our day. In your mercy, keep us free from sin and protect us from all anxiety. And the last line is, as we wait in joyful hope for the coming of our Savior, Jesus Christ. What do you wait in joyful hope for? What have you not done yet that you hope you'll be able to do? Or what's a dream that you can at least hope will be realized?
That renews for me every day. I really love being home. Um, I have encountered a lot of times where I have experienced people who have had an absence of hope. Maybe they have felt stuck. Uh, there's just sometimes some stagnation that gets inside of us that it needs a little stirring. Uh, and so I have just really enjoyed having some deep conversations with people. I've been doing little acts of service here and there through my work and through just my involvement in my parish here, just to try to renew some hope. And the beautiful gift of that is that it renews our hope internally as well. And so I really try to be, I have lofty goals for sure, but I really try to be in the present, in the season of life that I'm in right now, and just saying, okay, what good can I do today?
Yeah.
How can I make this, how can I make an improvement today? How can I not be part of the problem?
Mm.
Um, and so that has been very edifying lately. You were asking about anything else I wanted to say. I would just reiterate something I think I mentioned the last time I was on the podcast, that Dia de los Muertos, it's not Mexican Halloween, right? They happen at around the same time, All Hallows Eve. But it really is deeper than that, right? It is about connection. It is about being able to celebrate the life and the memories that were shared and all of the complicated family histories that make us who we are. Um, but then again, we have the ability to chart something new moving forward.
That's good. That's a sound bite that ought to go at the beginning of this episode. Dia de los Muertos is not Mexican Halloween. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful that we've been friends for a long while, and I think we're overdue for a visit. Maybe you can invite me up there and show me
Oh,
around.
you are always welcome, my friend. And yes, I need to get down and see you all. It's been way too long.
That would be nice too, but maybe I can come up and do a retreat or do some of my little dog and pony show up in
I would
Superior.
love that. I'll speak to our local pastor here, and we'll work on making something happen. It
All right.
would be a blessing.
Okay, sweet. Okay, well, I'm going to do the closeout part of this thing. Just you just keep smiling at the camera, just like you are. Uh, I'm uh, Father Nathan Castles. Grateful that you tuned in for this episode of the Joyful Friar podcast. And remember, I'm praying for you all the time. When I do, my particular interest is in the healing of anything inside you that steals your joy. And that can be just about anything, and some of it can be a very long standing. Something happened decades ago that's just maybe the body has kind of like, I don't know, created a scar over it or something, and you limp along as best you can. But I pray that the Holy Spirit who is inside you can go to the root of anything that steals your joy or makes your life more difficult than it needs to be and heal that one breath at a time, especially at night when you go to sleep. Um, I think our sleep is supposed to be healing and restorative, and I believe that especially by invitation, the Lord can move around in us, and the Lord gives gifts to His beloved while they slumber. That's one of the lines in one of the prayers that we pray frequently. So, anyway, this has been a time with Manuel Guzman. And my old friend, we're grateful that you could join us today, and let's do it again.
Thank you so much, Father Nathan.
All right.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
I'm extremely grateful for your interest in our project to replace our current Dominican community space. We four friars live here in these casitas next to the Newman Center. The two sisters live across the alley in their convent. The six of us share a common casita kitchen, dining, and living rooms. It was built in 1927 as married student housing, so it was intended to be used only by two adults. It's quite crowded, as I think you'll see. Come on in. Oh, and here comes Father Nathan. Looks like he's going somewhere.
Well, my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Except I can't get to my car.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man?
Tom,
How many
Tom.
streets must what?
I get by you.
Well, come, Martha White Man walk down.
Where are you going now?
St. Timothy's in Timbuktu.
Well, good. Bon voyage. How
squeeze
many
by.
seas Martha White Dove sailed before she sleeps in the
St.
sand?
Timothy's in Timbuktu.
Goodbye. Enjoy. How many seas Martha White Dove sailed before she sleeps in the sand?
So moving on from our tiny gallery kitchen, we move through our dining area to what was once the front door. We have a very tantalizing view of our toilet and bar combination. As you can see, we entertain a lot and we enjoy it. Oh, I believe we have a guest today. Oh my, it's His Excellency, Bishop Manny. Welcome, Your Excellency. Welcome, Your Excellency. Oh, and you brought your auxiliary, Bishop Toto. We are so honored to have you. Please come this way to our toilet and bar and fix yourself a drink. Oh my, I don't think he found the glasses. Oh, I think he's drinking from the font. We love to entertain, especially during the holidays. Normally we can get about 8 adults around our dining room table here. But when we have these big celebrations, we often cram people around a small kiddie table in our lovely living room space.
Oh, looking good. Let's see what's under here.
Oh, once again, here I am trying to squeeze in. Just keep getting older, but I have to keep finding my place in. I just, hold on, I know I can make it. I know, here it is. When will this end?
Your auxiliary is.
Really? You're tiny and cute and petite. You're the only one that fits there.
And old.
And you're complaining? Quit your complaining or grow a few inches and we'll find you a better spot. Come on.
Thank you. It's always hard.
These Christmas trees get in the way. I know. So.
Can someone, whoever's on the other side here, can you please? I'd like a little bit of salt.
Oh, salt. Wait.
Who is over there anyway?
Hi.
I'm trying to get my... It's just so tight here. But that's okay. The meal is delicious.
You know, if you would just stop your complaining, this could be an enjoyable dinner. I could tell you stories about my novitiate. I have lots of them. They're all funny and light and hilarious. How's that?
Or we could study the catechism. I have the catechism, I have it all memorized. We could recite quotes.
Please, no, please.
Might take a little. So, Bishop, how is your auxiliary bishop doing? Did you enjoy his
Thirsty.
Okay, now if everyone's all finished and you pipe down, Angelica, we can all have desserts.
As you can see, our now 92-year-old little casita has done its duty. And now it's time to retire it and replace it with a brand new Dominican communal meeting space. But before we all go, we'd like to come together and say thank you for your generosity.
Hey, I'll help you organize a group picture. Let's all get the group in. Everyone come on out. Come on out. Come on. Let's go. Come on, everyone get group picture time. Let's all get organized. Where's Father Tom? Let's go. We're taking a picture.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the evening.
Get in the shot. Come on, we need to get over here. Sister Angelica, we need you up higher. Come. Here, I have a box here. Here's a box. Here's a box here.
Where's Angelica? I'm coming. Tom, we'll get you
We
later.
need you higher. Well, that'll work. Okay.
So, in the Christmas season, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you from your Dominican family here in Tucson.
Thank you.
We are so grateful for your friendship. Please feel free to be in touch with any of us about our project. You can find our contact information on uacatholic.org. God bless.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Joyful Friar. Please like, follow, and subscribe. You can visit me at nathan-castle.com. Send me a message by clicking the contact button. God bless.